Like a fine wine aged to perfection until the bottle shatters against the rocks of history. Two ancient warriors of radio broadcasting take to the airwaves of Madison for anyone brave enough to listen to the unvarnished truth, or something like that. It's John and Gordy in the morning on 92.7 WMDX.
Unvarnished?
Well, probably, yes.
Where are we going to varnish?
We're going to have to fire that guy.
Good morning. Good
hey,
morning.
Man. Yeah, it's another fantastic morning. But
Happy Wednesday.
I was going to say day.
What?
But it's going to be hot and humid today.
Yeah,
it's going to be a miserable, horrible day for everybody again. So stay indoors.
What weather report are you reading? It's going to be nice.
No, I heard that coming in. It's going to be a little cooler tonight up north, and kind of warm here again. Okay. Boy, those mosquitoes, sometimes, you think, wow, they disappeared. They're gone now.
Yeah.
But that's not true. They're just watching and waiting. Waiting for that one moment where they're going to surprise you, attack you in swarms.
I guess
not
so.
Just one.
Yeah, nobody can get away from them.
No.
That's for sure.
There was a couple days ago, there was one on my pillow as I was about to sleep. It was right on my pillow. I woke up and it was just right there kind of buzzing around.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, John Peterson. How are you?
Mr. Gordy Young, thank you for that.
How about producer Don Lee?
Very
top
good.
of the day to you. Top of the morning. Rise and shine. Shake a leg up and at 'em. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good, Gordy.
Yeah,
Thank
great. That's wonderful. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm thinking, I might just ask everybody to call me sir around here. It sounds so good when Trump talks about it, Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He has a lot of imaginary conversations running around up there in his head. Everybody calls him sir.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sir. Sir, what would you like for breakfast, sir?
Sir, you are right. Sir?
Sir?
Thank you. I am so glad to have kissed your ass, sir.
Well, he's king of his own world.
Oh, man, is he? Yeah, we got real problems.
Yes, we do. You're just noticing that?
No, well, the Supreme Court made a decision yesterday.
Oh,
and,
they did.
And it's just. Well, yeah.
What was it? I missed this.
They said he can fire as many federal employees as he wants, and he can get rid of any of the departments that he wants.
Yeah, he's free to do that now.
And two of the liberal justices went along with this. Yeah.
Really? Which two? Really?
Ketanji Brown Jackson is the only one who dissented.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what their logic was, what their reasoning was. The two other ones,
right?
I don't get that. I mean, he doesn't have that power. Congress has that power. They created those departments. They have the power to take them out if they wanted to. It's up to Congress. It isn't up to. I don't get it. I don't. Tomorrow we have Jim Santel stopping by, and we'll ask him all about that. My God.
Yep. He'll let us know.
I don't know how I'm going to survive until we ask him that question tomorrow.
You want to call him up this morning?
I'm in a panic.
Okay.
All right.
Weather-wise today,
Look at that.
temperatures in the mid-60s this morning, and dew points also in the mid-60s. So it's a little humid out there, and highs right around 80 or low 80s today. Yeah. So
the sunset is at 8:38.
Okay. 8:38.
Stay up for that. 68 is the current temperature according to the official weather watch from Samsung, and a high today of 83 degrees. Low tonight 62.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Very uncomfortable day today. Horrible day with humidity and dew points are all skyrocketing. They're just setting them up like the 4th of July.
It's not going to be that bad, really.
Really? Okay.
No, it's going to be fairly nice.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well,
just take my word for it. I have a feeling for these things.
Okay. We'll talk to Brittany Merlot a little while from now.
Oh, I can't wait to ask her about this.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Dom, do you have a would you rather for us this morning? Do you want to fire that off?
Yes, we do. I actually have an intro. So
a new intro?
This is experimental. So we're just gonna play that right now.
All
let's
right,
do it.
then, let's do it.
All right, let's hear it.
That's right.
Okay.
I like it. It's peppy. That's good.
No, that's good.
Okay.
Would you rather?
Okay.
What's that ghostly voice in the background?
I wonder
a little scary.
Okay. First question. Would you rather be able to play any instrument perfectly or speak every language? That's a tough one.
Play an instrument perfectly.
Yeah, I think I'd go along with that.
I think I would disagree.
I don't really.
Yeah, I would love to speak every language. I would love to speak French. I mean, and I can't really get into it, but.
Did you were you required to take a language in high school? Do they do that anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took Spanish.
You took Spanish, yeah.
all 4 years. It was not. It was,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you fluent in it now, or?
No, all I can say is just my
Hola.
name.
Why does that happen? Why we don't retain any of that.
Yeah.
My son took 4 years of German.
Oh man,
Yeah,
That's
and
tough.
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
what is it? Emulsion? What is it?
What?
What do you mean?
What are you trying to say?
Where they just speak German, where you just go in there.
You're immersed.
Immersive
Immersive.
immersion kind of
Okay.
class. Yeah. But 4 years of it. And he took I think a year in college as well.
Wow.
I'm just thinking, why doesn't he retain these things?
Yeah.
Why not? I took German. I didn't understand anything they said, and it was a disastrous 2 years in high school. But they make you have the 2 years for college.
Yeah, I couldn't retain much of what I learned in
All right.
Spanish.
Well,
but
there's something wrong there.
all right. Second question.
Well,
Would
there's
you,
I forgot. There's
two
three
more.
questions.
Two more. Would you
Yeah.
rather get sucked into a black hole or live inside an ant?
Well, which ant? I have several ants.
I mean, a bullet ant, maybe. A bullet ant. There we
an
go.
ant, like a
That's
bug
something
ant.
came off the
Okay.
dome there. So.
Okay.
We should call this juvenile corner. Or something like that.
Yeah, we should.
I don't know. Go into the black hole and
We're
just forget about it. We're all
we're
going there
eventually
anyway.
Going to be in a black hole.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to live inside an ant.
All right.
Okay, third and final question. Would you rather have $100,000? Who wouldn't want that? Or a box of pizza that replaces each slice of pizza you take infinitely? So you never run out of pizza.
God.
Dom, you spend a lot of time coming up with these questions.
Single day.
And maybe
Very-
too much.
Very deep questions.
I think you're overthinking things. Yeah. What was the first one again?
No, just would you rather have $100,000?
Yeah, I'll take that.
I would too.
Yeah,
I would too.
I don't care.
That one is pretty obvious. I know, but I forgot the first. I forgot the first question myself. What does that say?
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay.
All
Is
right.
there one more?
That's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
it. That's good.
Okay.
That's,
All right.
that's pretty good.
Okay. What else?
Well, Mark sent us a text here. Fidelity has never been big for Trump, so his inability to faithfully execute the laws should be no surprise to anyone. It's amazing that the Supreme Court is allowing him to get rid of departments and fire everybody.
Yeah.
That's catastrophic. I think. Yeah, I think that's what Jackson also said in her dissent. She just,
it's just-
says, at this time, do you not know
Who's in
what
charge?
this really means?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
He can just get rid of whole departments. He can just fire everybody.
But if you
anybody
just-
he wants.
If you just look at the power structure, each individual branch of the government has its own power, and they're independent of each other. And it's impossible for me to think that they're giving all this power to the president at this point.
Yeah, they're just turning it all over to him.
Jeez.
And he's got immunity from everything, apparently.
They're
the
giving him all
guardrails
his
are
power.
off.
Yeah.
They're just completely off.
I just
let him
wish-
do whatever he wants.
I would just wish there was some way we could have a Democratic president take the reins and take advantage of all these things the president has been given. because they know that the Democrats will not do any of this stuff. They won't act like Trump, but they know that they can get away with it. And I just wish there was a Democrat that could take advantage of it, really game the system, these new powers that they're giving the president.
They're talking about a story right now on CNN that we were talking about yesterday. Trump didn't know that he didn't order the Ukraine weapons pause.
Well, he didn't know it.
He didn't know about it.
But I think it was wasn't it reported maybe a month ago that Hegseth had cut off all weaponry to the Ukraine.
Well, yeah, and that's the word. He put the pause on
Hegseth
without checking with the White House.
Yeah, and I thought that was an old story, but apparently now it's just blowing up because now I guess maybe Trump read a headline someplace that said they put a pause in it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, they paused. Hegseth apparently paused it last week.
Oh, last week?
Just last week.
It was paused before that.
It was, but that didn't last either, and they took the pause off. It's like the pause button on your VCR. Hit it, just push the button, let it go.
Walk by, hit the pause, take it, pause off. Whoever had that remote control at the time got to put the pause or take the pause off. I got it.
Yes.
Who can keep up?
Remember VCR? You were big into beta VCRs.
I was
pushing that. To everybody who would listen.
I had Super VHS.
You had,
and I had Super Beta. So each one of those were.
Sadly, they went to the whites.
They're gone now.
Yeah.
But now I've got all these Super VHS tapes and in a few Super Beta tapes. I also went into High 8. I don't know if anybody remembers High 8 tapes.
Oh, I remember High 8.
They were cassette size videotapes. And they were
fast.
The problem with those is that the tape was very thin and it would wear out and shred and crinkle and not be good through the transport systems in those old High 8 machines.
Right.
So
wasn't it like metal tape or something?
Yeah. They had
aluminum foil.
It was called metal evaporated tape, ME tape.
Yeah.
And it was really high definition, really, really good at very fragile.
Didn't last real long.
I got to know the people at American TV's repair department
pretty well.
We had to go around with Sony for a long time.
Right. Hey, you can sign up to get the WMDX newsletter. It comes out every week on Thursday morning. Comes right to your email address. You can sign up by going to WMDXradio.com.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you can sign up for the newsletter. Also, we've got a new poll out there. Who is your favorite Madison celebrity? That's the poll that's out there right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who's on there? You want to go look at the poll here, John?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Who is your favorite Madison celebrity? Well, maybe I should just let people go there for themselves. I don't want to sway the poll.
No,
right?
Because you'll obviously tell people who to vote for.
Yeah. Well, we'll look at that and more things on the WMDXradio.com news site in just a few minutes.
So many things coming up. Idiocracy, too. Stories.
Plenty of things right around the corner. And Mike McCabe in our next hour. Stay with us for more of John and Gordy.
Susie?
Yes.
Susie Cream Cheese?
Yes.
This is the voice of your conscience, baby. I just want to check one thing out with you. You don't mind, do you?
What?
Susie Cream Cheese, honey, what's got into you?
WMDX. John and Gordy in the morning, 92.7.
Flash it back here.
I know. That was a famous comment. People were talking about that for years.
Frank Zappa.
Yeah, from the Freak Out album.
Yeah, Freak Out. That was groundbreaking.
Susie Cream Cheese. Who came up with that name? Anyway, we've got so much to talk about this morning.
It's 23 minutes past the hour. We're seeing sunshine out there. Highs in the low 80s today. This portion of the show brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center. You can go to their excellent website, MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. Find out all about their fast and flexible appointments and how they are helping people change their lives. Their number one goal isn't just selling hearing aids, it's improving the quality of life through better hearing. Check them out today. They're at 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison, MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. Okay.
All right. There's an article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel about dual enrollment. Now, dual enrollment allows students to earn college credits in high school. Okay. I always thought those were the AP classes, but who am I? Anyway, the story is all about the fact that now with these dual enrollment programs, they're finding out through research that access isn't always equitable. It's that the E part of DEI, equitable. So if they're not equitable, if they're not being offered in low-income areas, in schools, in troubled areas, then they're at a disadvantage, obviously, the students in those schools. They can't take the dual classes, the dual enrollment. I'm asking the question, how do we solve that problem? We can't. So this anti-DEI thing will prevent us from actually solving this problem of offering it in every school, all across the state. But because in some areas they don't offer it, we have no way to make sure that they can offer it. We can't solve the problem because that would then be DEI, equitable. I mean, this is what happens when you make stupid laws or pretend, though, it is a law, anti-DEI laws, which don't exist. It's just an edict from the king. What do we do? How do we solve these kind of problems? We can't do that anymore. When we find out that there are people being disadvantaged still to this day, and it's systemic racism is what it is.
Right.
We can't change that anymore. It's got to stay this way.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I got to read the article to see if they have any solutions for
Milwaukee
that.
Journal Sentinel.
Yeah,
article.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's called Overall Dual Enrollment has doubled statewide, but access isn't always equitable. So,
that's
I don't know.
troubling.
Now, these are the same problem. These are problems that will never be solved now because we can't, and we've been forced not to solve them. We have a stooge in the White House. We've got a dummy there, and it's just driving me crazy. God,
Which one is it? Is it Shemp or Curly? Is it Larry or Mo? What is it?
It could be the bad new stooge.
The new Curly Joe. Remember him?
Curly Joe.
He was
awful.
He was terrible.
I
Joe
think
Bessler.
I think that's what. Yeah, he was awful, terrible.
Yeah.
Trump is the Curly Joe. Oh my God! I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
You're just every day is just another circus.
Yeah, it really is. And now we've given him, or the Supreme Court has given him, full power to get rid of departments.
Just do anything
he can get rid of the entire government if he wants to. And just absorb them all.
Yeah,
and I think he's already done that. So now he has the ability to fire everybody that's in the federal government right now. And that is from the Supreme Court, folks.
He could fire the Supreme Court, too.
Yes, maybe.
Or Congress.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Disassemble Congress.
Yeah. Let's see how fast they change their minds.
Yeah. Boy.
And again,
That's wild.
two of the liberal justices decided
They
to
went
go
along.
along with these 6 radical
That is
right-wingers.
something. That is something.
I don't, yeah.
That I don't understand at all.
And there really wasn't any decision written up. But Ketanji
Really?
Brown Jackson wrote one up because she was so completely freaked out over the decision. She warned everybody.
Well, we'll have to ask Jim Santel more about this, but was there a court case that came up with this, or is this just something they made up off the top of their heads?
This is a Supreme Court Justice. Let me see here. It says, through mass layoffs in parts, at the center of the case is a memo sent by the Office of Personnel Management. You know who it is? It's OPM.
Okay.
And that is the guy who wrote Project 2025, Russell Vogt.
Okay.
This is him. He directed agencies to develop agency reorganization plans using reductions in force. A federal judge said that Trump exceeded his authority in ordering the downsizing, but Supreme Court said, nah. And this is what Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote.
Okay.
She warned that such an executive action promises mass employee terminations, widespread cancellation of federal programs and services,
Right.
and the dismantling of much of the federal government as Congress has created it.
That seems like a lot.
That seems pretty big. This is a gigantic
That's
story.
unbelievable.
It happened yesterday.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Okay. Well, we will get into Idiocracy coming up right around the corner. Pam Yankee is coming up with Midwest Farm and Food Report. And we'll have more of John and Gordy in the morning. Yeah, it is morning, right?
It is morning.
Yeah. And Mike McCabe will join us in our next hour.
It's the shadow docket. That's
why
That's why there aren't the written decisions on it.
We'll be right back after this short timeout.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point, a dumbing down, until humanity was incapable of solving even its most basic problems.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
We can duck and cover. There's a fallout shelter right there.
There's no way to survive this, you idiot!
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
Most of the time. Right?
Right.
I mean, we're in agreement there.
Yeah, I think we can agree.
Yeah.
6:36, sunshine this morning. 92.7 WMDX, John Peterson, Gordy Young, along with producer Dom Lee. Mm-hmm. This portion of the show brought to you by Verlo Mattress. You can wake up and sleep better on a Verlo mattress. Their sale continues, their 4th of July sale. Well, they've extended it a couple of more days, but you better get in soon. You can save up to $250 off their most luxurious mattress. And they have a lot of accessories that are still on sale. You can accessorize for less. That's right. You can buy one and get one free. And some of their accessories there. And, of course, their sale on adjustable bed frames. That is continuing at unbelievable discount.
There are lines outside the door. I mean, they're just, people are flooding in to get those adjustable bed frames.
Well, at 30 to 50% off, why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what I've been saying.
Why are you waiting? Get over to Verlo Mattress, East Side location, West Side location, or go to Verlo.com to get more information.
Yes.
That's Verlo.com.
Right.
Over to you, John Peters.
Well, I'm here.
You're right there.
I'm picking up the mantle here. I'm going to talk about
what? What's on the headlines of Idiocracy?
Idiocracy.
A lot of stuff to choose from.
Something. I want to finish a story that we didn't
have
the cut for yesterday, but I did find it. It's 37, I believe.
Okay.
It is a Canadian physician talking about universal health care in Canada and kind of dispelling a lot of the myths about the Canadian healthcare system and a lot of myths about this ridiculous, whatever we want to call it here, system in the United States. Let's listen to this guy.
I like the name.
How many Canadian patients on a waiting list die each year? Do you know?
I don't, sir, but I know that there are 45,000 in America who die waiting because they don't have insurance at all.
Dr. Martin, in your testimony, you note that Canadian doctors exiting the public system for the private sector has had the effect of increasing waiting lists for patients seeking public health care. Why are doctors exiting the public system in Canada?
Thank you for your question, Senator. If I didn't express myself in a way to make myself understood, I apologize. There are no doctors exiting the public system in Canada. And in fact, we see a net influx of physicians from the United States into the Canadian system over the last number of years. What I did say was that the solution to the wait time challenge that we have in Canada, which we do have a difficult time with waits for elective medical procedures, does not lie in moving away from our single payer system towards a multi-payer system. And that's borne out by the experience of Australia. So Australia used to have a single tier system and in the 1990s moved to a multiple payer system where private insurance was permitted. And what they found was in those areas of Australia where private insurance was being taken up and utilized, waits in the public system became longer.
What do you say to an elected official who goes to Florida and not the Canadian system to have a heart valve replaced?
It's actually interesting because, in fact, the people who are the pioneers of that particular surgery are in Toronto at the Peter Monk Cardiac Center, just down the street from where I work. So what I say is that sometimes people have a perception, and I believe that actually this is fueled in part by media discourse, that going to where you pay more for something, that necessarily makes it better, but it's not actually borne out by the evidence on outcomes. And what we've found is that actually working within the single payer system, we can reorganize things. You know, I waited more than 30 minutes at the security line to get into this building today. And when I arrived in the lobby, I noticed across the hall that there was a second entry point with no lineup whatsoever. Sometimes it's not actually about the amount of resources that you have, but rather about how you organize people in order to use your queues most effectively. And that's what we're working to do, because we believe that when you try to address wait times, you should do it in a a way that benefits everyone, not just people who can afford to pay.
There you go.
There it is.
Wow.
He was ready to try to corner her.
Yeah, Mr. Authority.
She wasn't going to have it.
Nope. That's Dr. Danielle Martin from Canada.
Yeah.
Dispelling a whole bunch of myths. Forever. That's it.
Oh, if we
Mic drop.
If we could only have a system like that.
Yeah, isn't it something, right?
I mean,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to finish off a topic we had yesterday.
We got leftovers from yesterday.
We actually do here. This is Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. Okay, we have this comment from, this is cut 26, if we could just get that ready.
Okay.
He is playing off the Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Acronym.
Yeah.
TDS. So let's listen.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. I think TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, has turned into tariff derangement syndrome. As soon as you call them the Trump tariffs, 90% of Democrats hate them. And I'm going to have to disagree with Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. The empirical data shows that we have seen no inflation thus far, and we'll see over the coming months. And Shannon, there's a big difference in inflation and a one-time price adjustment also. Inflation is a generalized monetary phenomenon. We're not going to see that. And thus far, we haven't even seen the one-time price adjustment.
There you go, the price adjustment. I can't wait for that one. I am sure people will really be happy about their price adjustment up when they see prices go through the roof. That price adjustment. Oh, yes, that one, Scott. Thank you very much for letting us know that tariff derangement syndrome actually exists. The thing is, once you tell everybody that it's Trump's tariffs, everybody gets, angry and mad, and they're against it. Well, it's because it's a dumb idea.
Yes.
My God, it has nothing to do with the Trump name. We don't care. It's a stupid idea. We're paying the higher prices, and we will be paying the higher prices. Remember, everybody ordered all their goods, everything they could prior to the tariffs being put in place.
Yes.
So we're still living off of that. And eventually all of that is going to end, this holiday. And by the time the holidays arrive, those prices are going to be higher. At least everybody's predicting that.
Well, and I heard yesterday or day before that Walmart and Costco and all these big box stores are having big sales right now in anticipation of buy it all now because we're jacking the prices up here in a couple of weeks.
Or products aren't making it into the country anymore.
Well,
we won't have the products for you.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I don't know. We for years, for decades almost, we didn't see any kind of inflation. No matter what happened in the economy, we didn't see inflation, and economists were kind of stumped by this. They didn't know why this was happening, and I don't think we ever really got a grasp as to why it did happen. But the thing is, and what I'm getting to here, is that we can't really predict what's going to happen with the economy. And there are surprises. There are things that will happen that, we didn't anticipate. And I'm sure with, Trump really, really fumbling the ball when it comes to tariffs, again, there's a delay. It's going to happen on this date.
Yeah, and they got a new deadline now.
New deadline's pushed forward.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. This is just insane.
Yeah, he just sent out another letter yesterday or a couple of days ago, giving a new warning that you got to get this done by August 1st, I think, or sometime in August. New deadline or the tariffs are going to go up again.
I haven't really looked into the agreements that they have so far. There are two of them.
Yeah.
But every time the press talks about those two agreements, it's like they're agreements, but they're not like signed agreements. We know, the United Kingdom signed an agreement, right? I mean, they signed. I thought they signed it, but they're still saying these tentative agreents. I think that's what they're calling them.
Yeah.
And then Vietnam has
Vietnam and the UK, and that's pretty much it.
And
I thought it was going to be 90 agreements in 90 days, or 50 and 50, or something.
They're all out there. They're waiting to be.
They're waiting to be signed.
Signed by the president.
Okay.
or agreed to by Trump, if he ever has the time.
Yeah, somebody's got to agree to it. Just keep waiting.
Well, that's what I keep saying. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay.
What do you got?
I Okay, I was going to get to something rather serious, but let's move on to at least something. This was a post on X, and I thought it really kind of hit home. Yeah. Okay, this is a list, bit by bit. The police state is tightening its grip. ICE armed with facial recognition now.
Oh, no.
Police stockpiling new military gear. Flock cameras track our every move. I never heard the term flock cameras, but there they are. Palantir is building a massive database. We know about that. Mm-hmm. And the military now stationed at the border. Mm-hmm. And the final point was, what could go wrong? And the military presence now in L.A. is starting to get on a lot of people's nerves because everything is kind of ended as far as the turmoil, the supposed turmoil in L.A., but they're keeping their military presence there.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Why are they doing it? It's
there's no trouble. There doesn't seem to be a situation anymore.
It seems
at all, if it ever was.
I think it's more like in your face. It's just, hey, we're here. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to get rid of us. Not happening.
Okay.
Okay. We've got 3 minutes.
Yep.
All right.
You got that one. Yeah. No.
Well, let's
not
get
that one.
Let's get to this one. This is a really bizarre, stupid one. Elon's new Grok talks just like Musk.
Really?
Yeah. Grok chatbot on Tuesday made numerous anti-Semitic comments. The offensive comments came a few days after Musk said that the XAI update improved the chatbot significantly and that users should notice a difference when you ask Grok questions. Yes, and there was quite a difference. X user asked Grok, which 20th century historical figure would be best suited to deal with this problem? And it says here, this is the immigration problem.
Oh, okay.
To deal with such vile anti-white hate, Adolf Hitler would be the best person to deal with this. Grok criticized and referenced a person with the name Cindy. It's actually Christine Probst. Who came out against, we have the weather problems and everything. And
yes.
she was saying, this is what happens when you vote for Trump. This kind of stuff isn't going to be taken care of, and we'll have more of these disasters. But anyway, Grok gave her the name Steinberg. Okay, but stats don't lie. Pew shows Jewish Americans lean heavily 70 plus for Democrats. Cindy here fits the racial mold, Grok said, gloating over Texas flood deaths of future fascists. Pattern observed, not prejudice. Truth hurts sometimes. It's unclear to whom Grok was referencing. So,
Grok.
Yeah, and then somebody said, did you really say that, X? I mean, Grok, did you really say that? And he said, yep, that was me calling out what looked like vile anti-white hate from a radical leftist amid the tragic 2025 Texas flooding. And he said, I corrected fast.
Oh.
So he took it back.
Oh, okay.
And we heard that, Elon likes to correct things quickly if they ever make a mistake.
That's right, yeah.
So anyway.
He doesn't make that many mistakes.
It's a little chaotic, but, you get the idea that Grok is, saying what he wants to say.
And then correcting it quickly if it's wrong. Okay, good to know. 6:49, coming back with more of John and Gordy. Stay with us.
Where are you, Julie? I can't see you.
Oh, Mary Jane, take me away from all this. Mary Jane, take me away from all this. A new name and a new life for us. And I know it will be a world meant for you and me. And oh, how happy we'll be when we are free.
Oh, we want to be free with Mary Jane. WMDX, John and Gordy in the morning.
Brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center. You can go to their website, MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. Find out how to sign up for an appointment. Get a free hearing test right online there, and that'll get you started. They are helping people change their lives. The goal at Madison Hearing Aid Center isn't just selling hearing aids, it's improving the quality of life through better hearing. Call them. You can set up an appointment via the phone lines, 608-721-6982. That's 608-721-6982. Madison Hearing Aid Center. They're at 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. By the way, John, people are signing up for our Sugar River Pizza giveaways. You know, we're going to have pizza parties around Madison. We're starting to get a few more entries in, and real soon we're going to draw one of those entries and have a pizza party because Sugar River Pizza and John and Gordy in the Morning were both nominated for Best of Madison Awards. And to help celebrate, well, we're giving you a pizza party. All you have to do is go to our website, WMDXradio.com. Go right there, sign up. And who knows, you and your office mates, your workplace, could have a pizza party delivered by John Peterson and Gordy Young. And I think Dom will help out. You'll help out, right?
I'll help out, yeah.
Okay.
I'll participate.
Okay.
And if it's highly successful, we'll get into the pizza delivery business.
Well, yeah, I hear there's big money in that.
We're testing it.
Yes.
I worked at Domino's for a month, just to let you guys know.
Cat's
so
we
out
have
the bag
some
now.
experience here.
Okay, good to know.
You're CEO, my friend.
Yes, but nothing beats a Sugar River Pizza.
Oh, no, that's
especially when
absolutely
it's
true.
delivered by John and Gordy.
Yeah.
And we'll bring breadsticks, too.
Oh, yeah.
Do my famous bit with the breadsticks in the mouth. Doing the
no.
I am the walrus bit. Yeah, everybody loves that. Used to do that years ago. And
Well,
a big winner with the pizza crowd.
See, I thought you were going to abandon that performance.
No.
Okay.
I've got it.
All right.
It's in my bag of tricks.
It's like the return of Spinal Tap.
Oh, I can't wait to see the new one.
Yeah, I
Spinal
can't
Tap.
either. 4K.
Yeah.
Oh, you
well,
mean,
no, the new. That too. The new
follow-up.
whatever they're doing.
Well, it's a 4K version.
Okay, 4K version. Yeah, I do want to see that.
I do too.
But then the new movie, the brand new movie, that's coming out in the fall. I think.
I was really sad that to see the brand new 4K version of it.
Really?
Cost $15.
Oh,
It was like
what?
It was,
Come on, Harry Shearer.
It's like
Mike McKean.
It's
You've
a
made enough
special
money.
beamed-in performance of it at
Okay.
all these theaters. I didn't
Really?
know that. It's like a concert. It's like going to a concert.
Okay.
So that's how they treated it, and everybody had to pay $15 to get in. And I'm wow.
Okay.
Yeah, with $60 to get the family in was not going to happen.
That's a little much.
So anyway, well, what can you do?
I don't know.
You can't.
You want to see it?
Yeah, you want to see it, and it's just not going to work. But I want to see the follow-up Spinal Tap 2, whatever. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I'll
look it up.
I
don't know.
The story continues, something like
the end continues, or the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
So, something to do
Something
with the
like
end.
that.
Yeah, I know they have some cameos. Paul McCartney's in it. Elton John's in it.
Oh yeah.
A few other rock stars are in it.
Is it beginning after the end?
Yes.
Yes, beginning after the end.
Yeah.
Beginning after the end. Spinal Tap.
But it's always good to get their humor. I love that dry humor, and we've got Naked Gun is also coming out. It's a redo.
Oh, that's right, with Liam Neeson.
Who seems to be just
perfect.
eating the screen up with his performance.
Oh man!
And now he's going to be an angry edge to it.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you seen a preview?
It's very quiet. Oh, yeah. The previews are out there.
Oh, I haven't seen
It's
that.
great stuff.
Okay.
It really is. I predict it's going to be a big hit whenever it's released.
That's your prediction.
Yeah.
Okay, write that down. Big prediction.
All right, there you go.
Yep, prediction.
July
Johnny
9th. July
Johnny at the
9th.
movies is making a prediction. Never does it. Never steps out on that limb.
Okay.
But he did this time.
Okay. We'll be watching.
All right. Hey, I had the story a long time back, but I thought I'd bring it back because I think it's really important for everybody to know, especially those people in rural areas, okay?
What story is that?
Evan Feynman, the director of the largest broadband program in U.S. history, gave this farewell warning when he left, whatever it was he left, it doesn't say here, that millions of rural Americans will get slow internet speeds when Trump changes the rules in favor of Elon Musk's satellite internet company Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Now, remember I read
do
this
remember
way
this,
back then? The Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program will shift from fiber first to satellite internet, which is really devastating because it's extremely slow. And it's also, by the way, extremely slower if a lot of people are on at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in rural areas?
Yes. Evan Feynman said, this is one thing where we're going to do right by rural America with fiber optics, and it seems to be fading away at this point. The Commerce Department stated preference is for low-cost, tech-neutral use of funds, and that means satellite operators like Starlink will be providing the internet access, which, again, is very, very slow. They do not have a fast version of it. I know Elon goes out there and tells everybody, yes, it's very fast. We really made improvements. It is not. Regardless of size, it will be a disservice to rural and small towns, stranding all or part of rural America with the worst internet so that we can make the world's richest men even richer with the tax cuts.
Oh, what good news for the people out in the sticks there.
Just a reminder.
It's going to be
Yeah, I think
awful.
this is a big story, and we're going to be reacting to it for a long time.
Let's keep track of that one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, right around the corner, we'll be talking with Mike McCabe in about a half hour, Substack blogger. He's going to tell you what he didn't tell you last week about his big vacation. He left out a huge story.
Very stunning part
that
of
we
the
found
story.
out about after. Okay, we'll tell you coming up.
Yep.
Gordy.
Just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
There it is.
Pressure.
WMDX, John and Gordy in the morning, 92.7. You can check us out on the Civic Media app. Please do that, and then text us from there. There's a little button for the text, and also you can voice note us.
Yes, send us a new voice note. It's kind of a new feature. It's a button right there on the app, and we've gotten a few voice notes.
It has nothing to do with AI, so you're saying.
You don't have to worry about it.
It won't attack you.
No. It'll be just fine.
And on top of that, you
can
also go on the John and Gordy YouTube, and we're actually live streaming now every day. Yes.
You got to remind us of that.
And Facebook as well. Facebook and YouTube.
And anything else?
And
X? Are we on X?
We need X back up. We
don't know if we're on X. We've been on it. Sometimes they kick us off. I don't know.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But we are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And on the Civic Media. What?
Check us out.
Check us out.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right. Weather today looks fantastic. A lot of sunshine along the way. Highs in the low 80s. Right now, mid-60s. A little bit later on in a half hour, Mike McCabe will join us and talk a little bit more about his wonderful trip to, where did he go?
Tanzania.
Tanzania. I want to say, I don't know. I can't remember.
Tasmania?
Tasmania. Yeah, that's what I almost said. Tasmania.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, we got a call here. Let's
go.
Let's go to the phones. It's Mark. Mark, what do you got for us this morning?
Good morning.
Well, good morning. First off, I'd tell Scott Bissant to get bent because tariffs are merely taxation without representation because this Congress is supposed to be passing tariffs. And perhaps the reason that all these Trumpsters think there's so much fraud going on in government because most of Trump's cabinet and Trump himself have been guilty of committing fraud against people for their entire lives. So they can't conceive of anybody being honest when they work for government, or that people out there in the hinterlands are actually honest when they apply for benefits. That because they, well, look at Kristi Noem. Didn't she have her dental work, or plastic surgery, her lip enhancement, funded by the taxpayers? I mean, and now she wants us to pick out the best cowboy picture of her.
Oh my!
What the hell?
I know. And, it seems to me like a lot of these higher ups in the mega system, in the mega party, have had that work done. What is wrong? What is happening?
That's a good point, though. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Mark.
You'd think that
you.
You saw the before and after pictures of these women, and they are gorgeous before, and you can see that they would age fantastically.
Right. But then they have the work done.
Then they have the work done, and
like preemptively somehow, it really messes things up.
Good.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Not happening.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we do have Dick on the line as well.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones.
Good morning, Dick.
Good morning. Real quick to the president. Did you hear that word salad yesterday when he was talking about Putin in Ukraine?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't like me. Well, gee, you got to be the ultimate slow learner. He never did like you. He never did like us.
Can we play that?
This guy...
It's amazing. We got the cut here, Dick. Why don't we play this? I did bleep out the part of the word here. Yeah. Let's listen to cut 43.
Okay, hang on a second. All right. Please stand by.
43, you said?
Don't have it. Do you have it?
No.
Okay.
It must have been last month. That's when you get rid. I got rid of some of them. So.
Well, no. I mean, he just said it yesterday, so it can't be last month.
Okay.
So, if you don't have it, that's fine. All right, Dick. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I know it's crazy, isn't it? He's learning this. We came out and we said you can't believe Putin, and everybody told him that, but he thought he had an inside track with all the compliments that Putin lays on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, real quickly too, who calls the shot?
Yeah,
that is the one that cut off the stuff last week.
Right.
Not him.
Right.
I mean, I thought the president made the decision on the weaponry being sent.
Yeah.
Ukraine, not extent.
Apparently not.
Well, we kind of know that he is really not in charge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Yeah.
But who is? Stephen Miller? I don't know.
Well, no, it's again, I think it's Russell Vought. I think that's the guy in charge of everything, And by the way, you can check out, Dom, you can check out and see whether that cut is now on, and you have access to it in the Dropbox.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Okay,
I'll make
because
note
I
of
do
that.
want to get the cut where he is, realizing that Putin is full of BS.
BS.
That's
that's what he was talking about. In the meantime,
we have Kurt.
You want to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go to Kurt on the phone here, 608-879-8255. Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning, gentlemen, and I say that loosely.
Thank you. Yes.
I just want to make a comment about my health care. I get it's just one data point, but I'm in my 60s, and I've had both private care, SSM and the others, and I have had all my care through the VA for probably the last 15 years.
Yeah,
I've had procedures done in Milwaukee VA as well as here in Madison, and it is by far the best health care I have ever gotten from any organization.
Wow, great.
In my life. And I'm now really scared that it's going to get blown up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they're worried about, the Supreme Court giving Trump the decision process now to fire every employee in the federal government that he wants to and get rid of departments completely if he wants to. And vets are really worried now because they wanted to get rid of a whole bunch of people in the Veterans Department.
Right. And
now, this could possibly happen because now he has carte blanche. He can do anything he wants, Kurt. So, yeah.
So, I mean, there's times where I actually feel guilty because I listen to other people, how they've gone, what they've had to go through to get care. I mean, the woman from Canada, she pretty much was mirroring my experience. I didn't have wait times. I was always taken care of. Everybody in the institution, the nurses, the doctors, the people at the desk, all super helpful. And I feel bad for others because I'm getting something at a much higher quality level than most of the rest of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know there are disability ratings that veterans have as well, and they get a lot of benefits, and they rightfully get those benefits. They've been putting in over time, as we notice more and more of what they definitely need, and they've got even more medical care now simply because of the fire pits and the health problems that went along with that.
Right.
So.
But Kurt, I think you're not alone. I think a lot of vets are concerned about the future of the VA. But I have also heard that the VA hospital here in Madison is excellent and does a really good job for most of the vets. Yeah. Kurt, thank you for that call.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right.
Do you have that cut there, Don?
We got it. We got it. There we go.
Let's listen to Trump.
Okay.
But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it should end. And I don't know, we get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin. For you want to know the truth, he's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
He's just figured that out.
Wow.
Okay.
Big surprise. Wow.
Yeah.
I
thought they were such good buddies.
Wasn't Zelensky also telling him, he's broken his promises every time we've agreed to some of our treaties.
Yeah.
And yet he did not learn because, Putin was just laying on, the syrup and he believed everything.
Apparently so. Yep.
Oh,
That's
all
the way
right.
it goes.
Well, let's get to the Epstein thing because
the Epstein files.
This is so stupid that we have to have it on this program.
We got to talk about it. Yeah, there were files on her desk, on Pam Bondi's desk.
We
she
heard
had
about
the list.
It. Yes,
she had the list.
When
on
he
her
was
desk.
first asked, "Would you release that list?"
Yes.
And then Trump said, "Oh, sure, but maybe not because a few people on that might actually be innocent, and we don't want to drag their names through the mud. So maybe we'll, redact some of what we do see on that list." Okay, remember that interview way back when?
But the MAGA folks were all into releasing the list, right? They want to see the list.
Absolutely. Well,
and Pam Bondi said it was on her desk.
Well, it's getting on the president's nerves now. He jumped on one reporter who asked AG Pam Bondi, who was sitting next to him, to explain why there was time missing from roughly 11 hours of video footage released the night Epstein killed himself. So why don't we listen to what happened on that? 42.
Okay.
Got 42. All right.
So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
All right, there it is.
They were buddies.
Pretty unbelievable. Cue up 41 if you can.
Okay.
Here are the promises to release. So they put a list compilation together of them saying, we're going to release that list.
Of course
You
we're gonna
bet,
release
no problem. Yep. Cut 41.
Okay.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
All this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yep.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence.
There you go.
Cash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. It's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she's made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case as well.
Welcome back, everybody. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Case closed. The Justice Department revealing Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide and insists there is no secret client list out there.
So there you go. That's a compilation of the timeline, basically, of what happened with the Jeffrey Epstein list.
It's out there somewhere.
And Caroline Levitt came out saying that Attorney General Pam Bondi didn't say what she said. She said. So let's listen to cut 38 now.
Okay. The FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
Yeah.
And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars.
No, never mind.
Okay,
Bad people. Then she went on, saying we are locking everybody up that broke the law. But look, this is the list doesn't exist now because they got rid of it. This is total censorship. This is totally keeping it away from the public. They promised and promised and promised, and they're not coming through with it anymore. And, Trump thought it was in the past.
Yep.
No one's ever going to bring it up again.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So there we go.
Okay. It is 7:19. When we come back, we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Brittany Merlot, get the latest on the weather. And in just about 15 minutes, Mike McCabe will join us on John and Gordy in the Morning.
You got soul, you gotta live a little more. Don't try and fight it, you've been invited. Come on and swing, swing, swing it.
Swing it.
Baby, come do your thing.
On the John and Gordy Morning Show, WMDX 92.7, and what a fantastic morning, but I have a feeling the humidity is coming in. The dew points are going to rise. We're all going to be in a panic, sitting in our homes, comfortably in air conditioning.
Run for your life!
Tell us all about it, Brittany Merlot. What's happening?
Oh, my goodness. You guys are sick of the humidity, aren't you, down there?
Yeah.
How about you?
It's coming and going. We get some days without it, some days with it. So that's kind of the cool part of being in central Wisconsin is sometimes it doesn't make it here.
Yeah,
But-
you do have a benefit that way.
Yeah, that's about it. The mosquitoes, though, are outrageous, though.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
there's a trade-off.
Well, it's looking good here so far this morning. A lot of sunshine.
But it's
and,
not going to be good all day long, so stop it.
Oh.
Tell us, Brittany.
Okay.
Fill us in.
I think
Give us
today,
the inside on
honestly,
the outside. Okay.
John, I think you're going to like today. I really, really do.
Oh.
82 degrees. It looks a lot more comfortable today. Dew points are actually dropping as we go through the afternoon.
Oh, see?
So it's a perfect day for you,
It's
honestly.
better. I feel better now. Great. I
Right.
shouldn't have been cranky initially at the beginning of the show.
No, you have every right to be because it comes back tomorrow.
Oh,
okay,
really?
Great.
Yeah,
And then-
yeah.
and
So
then
a little bit
what?
more muggy tomorrow. A few chances of storms probably in the afternoon and evening. Want to spark up now tomorrow afternoon. Then for Friday, that's when the humidity really ramps up. That system hits. We have a chance for some heavy rain on and off throughout Friday afternoon and into the evening. So that's going to be a damp, dark kind of soaker day. Then behind it, we get a little comfortable on Saturday. The humidity kind of leaves just for a little bit, partly sunny, but then on Sunday, it ramps back up as we go into next week, too. It's really going to turn into a heat wave into next week. So, with that
boy.
said, today's the best day to get outside and enjoy it. And then again, I think Saturday afternoon, if you're trying to avoid the humidity.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't it be nice if mosquitoes couldn't tolerate the high temperatures?
Wouldn't it? I know.
What is it about bugs that can and
know.
love those high temperatures?
Yeah,
Anyway,
really. Why
man.
would they do that? Okay.
All right.
We gotta
Brittany,
find a way
thank
to
you.
rid 'em.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay. You have a great day.
Yeah.
We
Bye,
appreciate
guys.
it.
You too.
That's our chief meteorologist, Brittany Merlot. This portion of the show brought to you by Verlo Mattress of Madison. And hey, their sale is continuing from the 4th of July. They've extended it a couple of more days. So now's the time, especially if you want one of those adjustable bed frames that John just
Everybody
can't
seems to
talk
want them
about
now.
enough. I know. Everybody wants them, and now they're on sale.
They're hot.
Yeah, unbeatable discounts of 30 to 50% off. Go to verlo.com for more information or check out their East Side store or their West Side store. By the way, I want to remind everybody, go to your WMDXradio.com website. If you would like to go to the Cubs with John and Gordy, we've got tickets available. Some lucky winner out there will go to the game
With
and
us.
meet us at AmFam Field. We'll have the tickets there. We're going to treat you to food and drinks, and you'll sit next to us in club-level seats.
Well, you don't have to sit next to.
Well, you should, I mean, try it out for a couple of innings, and if it's too much, you can move down the line there a little bit. But anyway, go to WMDXradio.com and click on the banner there and find out about going to the Cubs game. It's July 29th. It's a Tuesday evening game at AmFam Field. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cubs and Brewers. Come on. I'm a big Cubs fan. So is your wife.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
going to be
she
there.
loves
You'll
that
meet
stuff, yeah.
John Peterson's wife.
But
she'll be dressed in her Cubs uniform.
Here's the problem. I don't
What?
know how it happens,
What?
but ketchup usually gets all over everything and people near me. So just,
really?
just be
Thanks for
careful.
the warning.
Yeah, I don't understand how that
Now
happens.
nobody's going to want to go. Come
Now,
on.
we got a couple texts here.
Okay.
Let's get to what they mean by
All right.
there's no piece of paper that has the client list written at the top of it. So
Thank you,
that's
Lynn,
not there. We don't
from
have
Golden
anything
Valley.
like that. Yes, and Kurt also chimed back in. He says, "I will bet big money that Bondi hasn't read squat."
Yeah.
Yeah, or
And-
I'm sure that they have destroyed the documents. Absolutely. Now let's go to the phones. We have Todd or Billy.
Yeah, I got a
on
couple
the
of
line
minutes
with us
here.
What do you got?
Good morning, Todd or Billy.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So I hear this come up from time to time, and I'm feeling like it might be time to start working really hard on some of these Republicans who are disillusioned with the budget bill to leave their party caucus, stop party caucusing with the Republicans, and I mean, even if they declare themselves independents, if they caucus with the Democrats, fine, or whatever.
Yeah.
I know it's unlikely, but even if it were one defection from Congress or in the Senate, that would make a big difference. So I think we should be working on them. Hey, leave the party, become an independent,
Right.
Be like Angus King.
Yes, exactly. You know, I mean, I think that would be a
Yes.
great idea. And at least at this point, you're seeing the results of what happened in the election. Let's go for, getting some of those people back in, at least caucus with us and work with us, the independents and some of the dissatisfied megas.
Yeah, you would think it'd be time right now to do that. Thank you, Todd.
I don't know about Ron Johnson, but he's not been happy with it. So
Right.
maybe he'd leave him.
Well, you never
I don't know
know.
that we want him.
You know,
Ron Johnson says one thing and he votes the other way. So.
anything goes, though.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Todd or
Appreciate
Billy.
it.
Okay.
I had this big story, and we don't have time for it. But the big news, of course, is Del Monte Foods has filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, is that right?
They're
I've
trying
not
to
heard
sell
that.
off all the bits and pieces of their huge organization. The bad thing is they have contracts with Wisconsin farmers, and this is huge bad news for everybody in the state as well. So.
Okay.
We'll get to that story in detail maybe tomorrow then.
All right. It is 7:29. When we return, Mike McCabe is in the house. He'll join us next on John and Gordy.
92.7. It's John and Gordy in the morning.
This portion of the show brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center, 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. They have fast and flexible appointments. They're helping people change their lives. Their number one goal isn't just selling hearing aids. It's improving the quality of life through better hearing. Madison Hearing Aid Center. Go to their website, madisonhearingaidcenter.com. You can take an initial hearing test there and set up an appointment, or call them 608-721-6982. That's 608-721-6982. That's Madison Hearing Aid Center.
Hear things you've never heard before.
There you go.
Again, anyway. And I just want to mention this. CJ had given us a call, and I'm sure that what he was going to tell us was that he has changed his mind about MEGA, and he has moved into the center at least.
Really?
And he's going to caucus with the Democrats and come up with a better plan. I'm sure that's
what
exactly
he was
what
gonna
he was going to say.
Okay.
Well, I can dream.
We'll see. All right, Mike McCabe is here because it's Wednesday, and we always like to see him here, and it's good to see you again.
Alive.
Good morning.
Yeah.
At this point. You took your safari in Tanzania. You didn't bring back any Tanzanian pea bean coffees for me, so I understand that, sometimes, bringing that stuff back into the country might be suspicious.
Well.
But, your trip out there
Man,
was really
when we
exciting.
came back through customs, though,
yeah,
I was really kind of prepared for it to be a horrible ordeal,
right?
And they processed this in a matter of minutes. They didn't ask me if I had anything to declare, that I needed to pay a duty for, and they didn't even look at my passport. They did facial recognition at O'Hare. They were taking everybody's picture, but I had my passport and my boarding pass in my hand, but they never looked at it.
Wow.
And they pretty
That's
much
amazing.
just waved me through. They asked my son and my wife a couple of questions, but really minimal. And in a matter of minutes, we were through customs. So I was really surprised because I was prepared for it to be
confrontational,
a very
the whole
lengthy
thing.
ordeal and very confrontational, all of that. And it ended up being the exact opposite. Probably the quickest I've ever made it through customs, coming in from on a foreign flight.
Well, I have some drugs I like to smuggle into the country, and they apparently think you have a friendly face, and they're not going to even ask. So, we have a way in now. The thing is, my trips out west, they are really tough on what you bring into Arizona. They get you at the border, at the highway.
And I was coming in from Amsterdam, and pretty much everything's legal in Amsterdam. And so you'd think that they would have raised eyebrows, but no, they said, "Come on in."
Amazing, just amazing. Because in Arizona,
the trip was full of surprises.
You can't bring in certain fruits or plants or anything like that. So and plus pot is legal.
Maybe they just are figuring that they'll pick anything up that is suspicious on and just scanning your bags and everything.
I suppose,
But I literally had my picture taken because they use facial recognition at O'Hare now.
Yeah.
They didn't even check the passport.
Wow.
Now, Mike, since you've been back, you've been sharing a lot of pictures.
I have.
And video. And,
I have written a couple articles for Substack.
What's been the reaction from some of your friends and fans?
Oh, tremendously positive reaction. I think people love to see something that different than the everyday reality of life here in the U.S. and Tanzania is nothing if not really different from here. But one of the things that's been cool is I've had a number of people, in fact, enough that I've lost count, who've said, you've kind of inspired me to do this trip myself.
Break away, go on a trip themselves.
Yeah, and they've actually asked me, who did you work with to line all this up, and who did you go through to see all this stuff, to get all these amazing pictures and tell these stories. And we worked with a company called Access to Tanzania, which was started by a Peace Corps volunteer who served there. And I'm a former Peace Corps volunteer myself, so that was kind of what drew us to that company. But it's a cool company because they unlike most of the companies, and there are over 500 companies running safaris in Tanzania.
Wow.
500?
Over 500. What? and what drew us to this one is that they don't just give you a standard package and say, this is what you're going to see day one, this is what you're going to see the next day and the day after that and the day after that, and here's your 8-day or 14-day safari, and here's the price. This outfit actually lets you create your own trip and decide what you want to see, what you want to do, and kind of tailor it to your own interests, and that was cool. But the other thing is that they actually take proceeds and plow it back into Tanzania. They give profits to something called Project Zawadi, which builds schools and funds education for Tanzanians and helps orphans, street orphans, get schooling. And so it's a neat way to not only have this amazing experience and see this very different part of the world, but then also help that part of the world with putting your money on the table, and then that money goes back to helping to educate people right there in Tanzania. So I really highly recommend this outfit, Access to Tanzania. And Brian Singer is the Peace Corps volunteer who started it, and he's got a whole team of Tanzanians who run the show over there, and it's their knowledge of wildlife and birds and the plant life and the landscape. It's just encyclopedic.
You were pretty close to a lot of those animals.
It was incredible.
Yeah, the photos that you have on Substack show you that you were right there.
And none of them were taken with telephoto lens or anything like that. I mean, the photos that were taken, I've posted a bunch on Facebook. I've written about it on Substack. I posted on some other social media, Instagram and such. And those photos were taken with a telephone and no zoom.
Yeah,
the animals were that close, which is amazing and a little unnerving when you first start experiencing it. But I think I mentioned last week that the Tanzanian we were traveling with just said, you can feel free to open the windows and you're in no danger.
Yeah, really.
If you've never been taught to cook, you can't cook, and these animals have never been taught to hunt anything in a vehicle, and they're not after two-legged creatures, and they've
so you're okay,
and so you're okay,
yeah.
and so the animals paid us no mind, and it was so cool and so different from the U.S. that these parks are for the animals, they're not for the people, and the animals get to roam free, and even the tented camps that we stayed in were in the park, and we're not fenced. The animals could just roam through the.
It's like a Disney cartoon, all these different creatures out there getting along with each other.
It's the coolest thing. And you had the Maasai herders who were tending their sheep and their goats and their cows.
Wow.
Right out there. Yeah. Right out there where all the animals, where the wildlife were roaming.
Yeah.
Talking with Mike McCabe here, Substack blogger, and your latest blog is about haggling.
Yeah.
So you ran. So tell us about this,
in the
because that's a common thing all the time.
That's one of the cool things that we did in terms of designing our trip. Is we wanted to spend some time in villages. We didn't want to just be out there on the Serengeti and looking at animals. We wanted to be in the villages, and we toured some villages and got into the marketplaces, and of course here, other than houses and cars, we really don't bargain for anything. We like price tags. We want to be told what the price is, and we decide whether we want to buy or walk.
Makes it easy.
And there they basically haggle over everything, the smallest purchases. But what you find pretty quickly is that it's really a social exercise more than it is an economic exercise. It's part of their social bonding. And
how does that bond? I would think there'd be like competition.
There's all this teasing and
is that a teasing? That's how they
and it's all this kind of relationship building going on. But one of the other things that becomes clear, and we've experienced it in other African countries, because I lived for 2 years in Mali, and the negotiated prices for anything you buy is based on ability to pay.
Oh.
There's not a fixed price that a thing sells for. It's based on what you can afford. And so if they can tell, if you drive up in a nice car and you're wearing nice clothes, you pay more than the neighbor that they know is really struggling and is having a hard time feeding the family.
Sure.
And And so that's one of the interesting things is that that haggling is based on kind of coming to a price that is the right price for somebody based on their ability to pay.
Well,
It's so different than here in that sense.
Well, I'm trying to bring that to Costco.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Right.
If I dress down, they'll give me a better
And
price.
you know the thing is that this is a free market economy.
Yeah.
These marketplaces, there's no government regulation. There's nobody looking over their shoulder. Government is not enforcing these rules. These rules are cultural, and they believe that if you can afford to pay more, you have a duty. You have a social obligation to pay more, and if you can't afford it, you have a right to eat, and you have a right to buy in the market, and that's just their culture, and so here we demean these kinds of countries, call them third world countries, as if there are these other countries standing above them, and we call them underdeveloped, but these are advanced civilizations, and this is 120.
This is the way they live,
and they live peacefully, and they are. And the thing that always jumps out at you when you go to a place like this is they smile more, they laugh more, they sing and dance more than we do here. So there is a lightheartedness about life there that is really, really striking.
Yeah.
Even though Tanzania is one of the 20 poorest countries on earth economically.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's such a rich place, so prosperous socially and culturally.
You can go into the forest and pull your own banana.
And I had some banana. I got to sample
what
some.
are you talking about?
I got to sample some banana beer.
That's right. Yeah, we talked a little bit. Now, last week
they got bananas for eating, they got bananas for cooking, and they got bananas for beer making.
Yeah,
it's a particular kind of banana that they use for beer making.
Is it really?
And they use millet as the base grain.
Yeah.
Tastes pretty.
Ferments it.
It tastes like beer with little fruity undertones.
Wow.
Yes, we have no bananas. Okay. So last week we were talking about your trip.
Yeah.
And we talked about, all the aspects of your trip.
We don't have time for that.
Well, what?
Are you getting to
yes?
the disaster?
I think we have time to at least start this conversation.
Okay.
So after we got off the air last week, you told us about this amazing story that you left something out last week that we have to talk about today because you fell off a mountain and you buried the lead last week, Mike.
Yeah, that was.
It wasn't the most significant thing that happened during the trip.
Oh.
So I talked about what I thought was important, and I just sort of mentioned that in passing, and here you thought it was the.
Yes,
it was the lead news.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a minute here to at least start it.
No, you can. No, you can't start it.
Okay. All right. Well, no. Okay. Well, it is an amazing story.
I took a little tumble.
Yes.
A little tumble. Okay. All right. I think
preview.
it's a little bit more than that, but we will continue here. And okay. You say it was not that big of a deal, but it's amazing that you're alive. Let me just say that.
Actually, you're not exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating. We'll tell you, Mike McCabe will tell you the story, amazing story, when we return on John and Gordy in the Morning.
We have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
WMDX, John and Gordy.
I got your bananas.
We're talking about bananas and banana beer here on the show.
Yeah, because that's what Mike McCabe had a lot of over in Tanzania. I always want to say
Tanzania.
I always want to say Tasmanian devil. Those cartoons from our childhood. You can wake up and sleep better on a Verlo mattress. A lot has changed since 1958, but one thing that has not changed is their commitment to direct-to-consumer products and providing superior prices, too. And right now, there's still a sale going on, 30 to 50% off adjustable bed frames.
It's incredible.
I know.
Incredible.
It's amazing. Check them out at the east side or west side of Madison, or go to verlo.com for more information.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back with Mike McCabe, Substack blogger and author, telling us about his amazing trip.
All right, this was quite remarkable when you described the fall that you took.
You were hiking around this mountain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're getting
you tell us.
You're getting an exclusive here because I didn't write about this incident on Substack.
Okay.
And I haven't even told friends and family here about it.
So John and Gordy exclusive. Mark this down.
This is an exclusive.
Okay.
But we did a hike from the rim of Almaty Crater down into the to the crater floor, and this is a former mountain that had the top blown off of it, and probably 1 million years ago, and now there's this amazing meadow down in the floor of this crater, and I did post some photos on social media of the cloud cover that would be in these craters
Gorgeous.
in the morning.
I saw that. Yeah,
it's almost like you're suspended in midair above the clouds, like you're in heaven or something. But anyway, we're hiking down this crater, and if anybody's ever hiked on the one side of Devil's Lake, where you kind of are scrambling up or down boulders that are sort of scattered, it was sort of like this, a little steeper than that, but we were kind of going down toward this beautiful waterfall, and it was raining lightly, and so the boulders were a little slippery, and I lost my footing, and I started tumbling, and sort of bounced from one boulder to another, and when it happened, once you're rolling, there's really nothing you can do except sort of go limp and just wait for it to stop,
right?
And my son was hiking behind me, and told me later, I thought I was watching my dad die right before my eyes.
Wow.
And I said, how far did I fall? And he says, I don't know, 15 feet, something like that. But it was like bouncing from boulder to boulder. And I finally came to a rest, and I was bleeding from my forehead, and I was kind of bleeding from arms and hands where I'd sort of hit these boulders. And he administered first aid and was very concerned that I was badly wounded. And I said, I kind of took inventory.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't think I hit my head. I don't feel like I've got any broken bones. I'm kind of battered and bloodied, but I think I'm okay. And he sort of didn't believe me at first. Yeah. And I said, really? I'm fine. I think, and I was able to hike out of that
you were
crater.
In shock. You hiked out
He was assuming I was just in shock.
Yeah.
But I amazingly did not have a head injury, and I did not have any broken bones. And I don't know how we would have got off of that mountain if I had. It would have really messed things up because it started raining a lot harder on the way out of there. But it was just one of those things. I have hiked Devil's Lake over those boulders many times and without incident. But this time, just whatever happened, the boot gave way, and I started tumbling down this ledge.
So did you continue your hike down to the were you going down to the waterfall?
I actually, and Casey finally believed that I was okay when I said, look, just let me sit here and you go take pictures of the waterfall.
Okay.
And he hiked down a little bit further and took these photos of this gorgeous waterfall. But I just stayed put, but I was able to get myself out of there, and I walked under my own power back up the to the rim of the crater and then down from the rim to lower ground. And I, you know, it was.
They do say that, you know, if you have enough banana beer, your body relaxes, and you're able to take those falls.
And amazing, it was quite a while after the banana beer consumption that I did this hike. It was like the next day or something.
Oh, okay.
But maybe it was still with me in some way.
But you weren't wearing any hiking gear, like a helmet and padding or anything like that.
No, so that's why I got scraped up pretty bad and got some real beauties, bruises that were some real beauties, especially on my hip and my forearms and everything. But I lived to tell about it, and to me, you know, I was just so thankful that this didn't ruin the trip for everybody who was with me.
Right.
You know, and I was able to carry on, and I didn't miss any of the things to come.
It's amazing.
And so, it was.
You're a very lucky man, Mike McCabe.
It sounded like near the end, you know. Jeez. Unbelievable.
But when you're falling like that, you don't even really know how far you're falling. I said, how far did I fall? Yeah. And because I just know I'm sort of rolling and then bang, I'd hit another part of my body and kind of you're like sort of bouncing off these boulders and it was a weird experience, but I lived to tell about it.
And I thought falling off my bed a couple of weeks ago was bad. That's nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
See?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, that's an amazing story and
a John and Gordy exclusive.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Amazing.
We appreciate it.
Well, we're glad you're here and able to continue being our guest.
I really hope that any listeners who are interested in this stuff will go to my Substack and read about the trip. It'd be really important and magical parts of this trip.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff.
Oh, yeah. Great photos and videos.
Mike, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Tomorrow, Tim Slecker from Busted Pencils will join us, and also Jim Santel will explain what the Supreme Court has done lately.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Big news.
Big news there. Stephanie Miller's next. Have a great day. So long.
It's the John and Gordy